Hey everyone, Kyle once again. Welcome back to another review, and now I'm reviewing, like I said, I'm now reviewing the sequel, The Smurfs 2, the sequel to the 2011 one. And what can I say about this one? Now, like I said, I mentioned before I get into the story and everything. Like I said, this is what I mentioned before. This is my favorite film of 2013. I'm not taking it back. I ain't taking it back. Like I said, Gravity. Yes, I love Gravity. I really do. I put that at a very close second, guys. But I have my reasons why I put this here as my favorite film of 2013. I do. Now, like I said, the reason why I'm doing these videos, these reviews, because today, April 11th, it's been a year since Jonathan Winters has passed away. And I mentioned this how much I love Jonathan Winters. He said he always did a perfect voice as Papa Smurf, you know. Which is the reason why I'm doing these reviews. So that's one of the main reasons why. That's what if it hadn't been for Jonathan Winters, then I would put Gravity as my #1 film of 2013. But I ain't taking it back. This is my favorite film of 2013. That's why. And this was released July 30th, 2013, 31st, 2013. It opened and over the weekend, like the first film opened very close #2 behind Cowboys and Aliens with 35 million. This film, however, opened at #3 with 17 million. On the same weekend as Two Guns. The reception was much more negative than the first film. It has a 5.4 on IMDb, has 14% Rotten Tomatoes, much lower, well, 1 point lower than what it has on IMDb. What the first one was 5.5, and the Rotten Tomatoes has 22%. This is 14%. Director Raja Gosnell, he comes back and directing the sequel. And all the original cast comes back in as well. Another thing though, I want to say, well, I showed you this before. Before the Century Theaters closed down, I got this. They had this, you know, one of those things that we walk into theater. They have lost stuff advertised for films like this, you know. So yeah, I got this. Well, they were just gonna throw this away, so I asked them if I can have it. So I got this for free. The stand, you know, thing for the film. So yeah, but I got that months before the Century Theaters closed down, you know. Which I did that little video, which the Century Theaters, the Dome Theaters I was playing next to the Winchester Mystery House here in Sounds Lake, California, you know, which is really sad, you know. So I consider this like that a souvenir for me, a souvenir I got from the Century Theaters, you know. And I saw this, and I saw this film 3 times. I saw this, and I got that stand when I saw it at the last showing when it was playing at the Century Theaters for the Smurfs 2, you know. So I got that. So I got that thing for free. So yeah. The box office wise, the film had a $105 million budget. Made much less than compared to the first film did. It made 71 million in the U.S. But overall, and it made 347 million worldwide. It was still, so the film was still a success though, but it made less money than the first film did. The original cast: Hank Azaria comes back as Gargamel, Neil Patrick Harris as Patrick Winslow, Jayma Mays as Grace Winslow, his wife. And Brendan Gleeson, Brendan Gleeson is in this. He plays Patrick Winslow's stepfather, Victor. And then the original the voice cast for the Smurfs. So once again, Jonathan Winters is Papa. Katy Perry is Smurfette. Um, Anton Yelchin is Clumsy. George Lopez is Grouchy. Um, Alan Cumming is Gutsy. Um, where then there was also real with the name Fred Emerson as Brainy. And John Oliver as who did the voice of Vanity, who was a minor character in the first film. He's now a main character. Is now been made a main character in this film because they made Brainy and Gutsy the minor characters in this film instead of that's what they did. So they wanted to give Vanity the spotlight as a main character. So that's why they did that. So Vanity is now one of the main characters Smurfs here in the film. So the film it opens up with narrator Smurf telling the story of Smurfette, and this what the film is. This film it focuses on like more of a story about Smurfette, tells how she was originally created by Gargamel to terrorize the Smurfs, and to Papa, even though she was Gargamel's creation, Papa saw the good. He saw the good in her and made her into a true blue Smurf, And how she how she was originally created, because like in the original cartoon, she had black hair, and she was blue skin though. But here when she was first created, she had the black hair originally, and she said instead of blue, she was gray skin though. But that's when it popped up and then she made her into a true blue Smurf, So yeah, they take like how she originally, almost like how she originally was in the cartoon with black hair, instead of gold, So, but that opening scene was a dream sequence, when she changed back how her original way, But it was all a dream sequence, to how every around this time of her birthday she has these nightmares and Papa Smurf, comforts her, I like what I say, and every year I tell you, I remind you, it doesn't matter where you came from. What matters is how you choose to be. For Gargamel, he's still stuck he's still stuck in the modern world, and he's been first he was a big hit on YouTube, when he was sending a taxi up in the air. He's become a major celebrity. He's been performing magic tricks now, and now he's in Paris. And while he's in Paris, he has created two new Smurfs he calls the Naughties, Vexy and Hackus. Vexy has been voiced by Christina Ricci, who, if you recall, she was Wednesday in the Addams Family films, and she was in Casper, and she was also in the film Monster with Charlize Theron. She voices Vexy, and she does good as Vexy. And Hackus is voiced by J.B. Smoove, who I think he was okay, So but in order to keep it, since they're not true blue Smurfs, Gargamel has to keep them alive by giving them little drops of Smurf essence to keep them alive, and he's telling them how he has a new plan to get the Smurfs, and and yeah, just ignore the voice in the background if you can't hear that. Just ignore the voice. So he goes on top of the Eiffel Tower to create a new warp hole to the Smurf village. Since he can't fit, he gets Vexy to go in there to get Smurfette, since she knows the secret formula to make them true blue Smurfs, And while back in the Smurf village, Smurfette actually gets upset, that everyone's forgotten her birthday, which they were setting up a surprise party, how that typical thing, when they set up a surprise party, they tell them we don't know anything, you get upset over it. that thing, you know. So while she wanders off alone, Vexy takes Smurfette and throws him to the warp hole. So long, Smurfs. Um, so they get Smurfette, and she's not saying anything, you know. So while all that Papa he's made these teleportation crystals, you know, they'll transform them to Patrick's place, you know. Um, but Clumsy accidentally, you know, he with the crystals, you know, and it's him. It makes him Grouchy, Vanity, you know, Vanity swallow the crystals, you know. So they're teleported, and his Papa is like, well, sometimes you just have to smurf with the changes. And back in New York, you know, Patrick, you know, so this is Patrick, you know, he's celebrating his son's birthday, and it's Patrick's stepfather, Victor, played by Brandon Gleeson, who was in like I said, Lake Placid, you know, as the sheriff, you know, he was in 28 Days Later, and he was also that character in the Harry Potter films as he had that one googly eye, you know, eye patch, like he was in that, you know, and so he plays his stepfather, and he's like he's the corn dog king, and he pros like he accidentally um gives this kid with his son's birthday party, he has some friends over, you know, and he gives this kid a corn dog, and he's like allergic to peanut oil, you know, and he's like, what's wrong with that kid's lips? He's like, you know, not there, you know, not know what's happening, you know. Um, yeah, even though he's like how way Brendan Gleeson like acts, you know, but in this film, but I like Brendan Gleeson, you know, so so I would say he was pretty good. And so while all that happening, you know, like, and Patrick Winslow, he doesn't like him having him here, you know, because he always messes things up, you know. He says, you know, he was like when he was a kid, he sent his parrot away, you know, because that was the only thing that was left of his real father when he left, you know. I thought that subplot could be just left out, you know, a little personally though, but. And the Smurfs, they teleport into his apartment, and Victor, he doesn't know what they are, you know, so he starts attacking them, and Patrick explains, you know, they're friends, you know. And Papa tells what happened to Smurf Dad and what Gargamel, you know. And Patrick says, you know, they know where he is. He's in Paris, so they fly there, you know. So while that, you know, um Patrick takes the Smurfs and they go to the theater where he's performing, you know, and at the theater, Gargamel, he's out of essence, so he cuts Smurfette's hair for more. So while he's performing, you know, he makes his cat Azazel, you know, he makes him, you know, into a giant cat, you know, and the CGI, you know, I know it's like, nah, you know, it's not definitely not the best CGI, you know, but when he makes into a giant cat, you know, but I can live with it, you know. And he's asking for a volunteer, you know, and Victor, he steps in, you know, tells him, he says, you know, Magic Man, hand over the Smurfette. And he's like, what did you say? You heard me. Give me the Smurfette now. And he's like, how dare you, you know. And he says, a la carte, and Patrick says, duck, and then he says duck, you know, and transforms Victor into a, yes, and you know, how he transforms into the duck, yeah, wow, it's not the best CGI at all, you know. And Patrick says, no, and the spotlight goes on him, and then Gargamel, he recognizes him. So he's like, by Merlin's, but I remember you, and he's asked Patrick and makes him fly into the air, you know, his kid's standing there watching. He's gonna make Patrick, you know, maybe he's gonna make Azazel eat Patrick, you know. But Victor as a duck, you know, interferes. And while the Smurfs they're looking through the dressing room looking for them, you know, and they open a mirror, which is a doorway stairwell into his laboratory, you know. They see they learn what Gargamel is planning, you know, and they get out of there, and they tell Patrick, and so that his wife goes to the hotel with her, which he's not allowed to go to, to his room, but she manages to get him Patrick a butler uniform, a waiter uniform, so he can get in there. Um, and all that with all that Smurfette escapes, try to run away, but she's still feeling down, hopeful, thinking that Papa is not coming for her. Dexy tells her, like she has another plan to make her talk, so she makes Haggis go into the candy shop to get in trouble, being naughty. So he gets into mischief, and Dexy tells Smurfette, "Aren't you gonna help her? I thought you're supposed to be good." Which is like tricking her to make it, making her naughty, you know, and if they steal like the candy cars, like I didn't mean to. He's like, Haggis like naughty, naughty. So then the Azazel, he sees them, chases them, and where they fly on these storks, flying around Paris, and so Patrick goes to the hotel, to hide the Smurfs on this a car with food, for room service for Gargamel, but then Victor tells him he needs a card, but he already has the card. It was the hotel room card. It makes him misses the elevator ride. So, but another waiter makes him enters the room with the Smurfs hiding underneath. So they plan to scare him. But he pushes the card all the way out to the balcony. Almost falling. And then Smurf and the naughties, they fly back in the room. They close the door, and they look at the mirror. See, you're not that different from us. We're your family now. And then the other Smurfs, they look, see what they're seeing, and they're like, they just don't believe, what they're seeing, and Gargamel, plans, to use, because Remember knows it's her birthday. He gives her a gift, a toy from Selva, but it contains a small dragon wand though. And it gives gives her some of the power to it, and makes her, he zaps Azazel. He's like, how am I planning not to use it on you? Sing the Lulla song, tells her to sing it. It gives him a good zap, and Papa is not liking. She knows that she's becoming one of them. It's like, oh, we're losing her. And he's yelling on the door. He's like, Smurfette! And they're telling him to no, Papa, no. But Smurfette does not know they're there. She stabs the mirror, but angles off, hits the door, and they fly out. They fly off. He's like, and Papa's like, no. So, but Patrick sees them falling, and Victor catches them, but he transforms back to his human form, falls into the car with towels, And Patrick Winslow is mad, and he blames it on Victor, And back in the hotel apartment, and tells us that Victor tells him he's right, that like we said, how he send his parrot away, that he was allergic to, and now Victor corrects himself that he was allergic to it, It gives him one of the feathers he had and makes him sniff it, and he sneezes that he was right, he was wrong, Sorry about that, just blowing some dust off. So then Victor leaves, tells him, goodbye, Patrick Winslow. And the Gargamel takes him to the Ferris wheel, and he stabs him, makes him kneel before him, but basically tells Smurf that, hey, it's all cool. He's a celebrity, And because all the fans are like, hey, it's Gargamel, they're all clapping at him, So to make the wheel go, and It's like, with your secret formula and my magic here, we can do anything, you know? And she's like, okay, and then why are we going so slow? And Smurfette makes the Ferris wheel go faster and faster. And I always like, and when I first saw it, I always like that. I always like the scene, you know, where she makes the Ferris wheel go off the hinges and starts rolling down the streets of Paris, you know. And while also they had that song, during that scene, they had that song, "Vacation" by a girl, which is capital G.R.L. You know. And I like that song, you know. And also, the thing is, I like the couple of songs in the soundtrack, you know. So, and I like that song that was playing when a Vacation that was playing when the Ferris wheel was rolling down the streets of Paris, you know. And it's like, this is fun, and the guards were like, this is technically not, you know. He's getting scared, you know. Um, and while that Papa is like, he doesn't understand, you know, why would she choose them, you know, after he taught her love and compassion, you know. But he says she's only a Smurf as she chooses to be, you know. And Patrick tells him, you know, he said it doesn't matter, you know. So Papa has not given up yet, so they're planning to go back to his laboratory in the sewer, you know. Um, all that the back in the laboratory, you know. Gargamel gives her like a cake, you know, telling her to make a wish, you know, but she wishes, you know, that but she doesn't want to give up the formula. But then Vexy and Hackett start, you know, slowly starving because they're dying because they have to be fed, you know. But Gargamel is like, no, I can always make more, you know. And besides, I'm not the one letting them die. You are, you know. So she eventually gives him the formula, and he makes it, and it makes Vexy and Hackett true blue Smurfs, you know. Then he goes back with his evil plan all along, you know, grabs them, puts them in the new Smurflator in these containers to extract their essence, you know. After Papa hearing that he gave him the formula, was like, I failed her, you know. But vanity, you know, because even though vanity, he always, as his name, he always like look at himself in a mirror, you know. He means well and he helps out, you know. Um, you know, he opens up that door, you know, and all others meet, and but eventually everyone gets all the other Smurfs, they get caught by Gargamel and put in the Smurfulator, you know. And Papa tells him that's enough, you have enough, Gargamel, but he says yes, but I want more than enough. Um, but then the power cuts off, you know, but he needs to recharge it. But Patrick and Victor are down there. They use the fire the fireplace, the poke in the fireplace, you know. They start hitting the glass, you know, that has the Smurf essence in it. Which also used the power of this jumbo sized wand called the Wanda, which that's like a lame joke, you know. I mean, I thought that was like a lame joke. Yeah, the Wanda, yeah. But the glass breaks and sends an entire blue explosion, you know, throughout popping up the sewers, so the blue fireworks, you know. Um, they all reunite, but Gargamel still plans, you know, to use the big wand, and Smurfette uses her smaller wand and zaps the wand, makes him flying, you know, into the Notre Dame castle, you know, the church, whatever. And Sandy goes back on the Eiffel Tower, ignites the fireworks, like, this is gonna hurt, and he goes flying off. So and by the end, everyone's happy. They all reunite together, and they say goodbye to the Winslow family, and they teleport back to the village, and that's where they get back to the surprise party, you know. And back at Bexy begins to sing, you know, "Ooh La La," which is that song is by Britney Spears, which I'm not a fan of Britney Spears. But even though I'm not a fan of Britney Spears, but I do like that song. Of that ooh la la song, you know, that Betsy is singing, you know. So I'll be honest on that. So I do like that song. Um, And but also after that, but also during that, so Hank Azaria Gargamel, he used that one last the last bit of the essence from the wand and transports him and Azaria back to his home, you know. And then as the end credits roll, there's a song by Owl City, you know, "Live It Up," which I like Owl City, which I like a couple of songs like it from "Take to the Sky" and "Legend of the Guardians," you know. And that song "Good Time," which is also shared by this other female singer, you know. "We don't even have to try, it's always a good time." And I like the song "Live It Up" that's playing through the end credits, you know. And then during the end credits, after what shows of the cast, it shows in the memory of Jonathan Winters. Thank you for bringing thank you for how it says, thank you for giving life to Papa Smurf and making the world a Smurfier place, you know. It is, and every time it shows that, it just makes me real sad, you know. I'm being really honest. Every time it shows in the memory of Jonathan Winters, it makes me real sad, especially when it's combined with the song "Live It Up" by Owl City, you know, like dun, 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 you know. I don't know how to do the song. So yeah. So it just makes me real sad every time that part rolls up during the end credits. So yeah, that's why the reason why I put this as my favorite film of 2013. You know. So I like the songs. The cast once again do a good job. You know. Especially for Jonathan Winters' last film. You know. So that's pretty much I pretty much covered for the Smurfs 2, and they said they want what I've read, they wanted to, when I first heard they're going to do a number 3, which like, oh, I was like, all right, you know, which is originally was going to be set released on July 25th, 2015, but they moved it to August 14th, 2015. But then I heard that well, first of all, before I say that, though, now that I know now that Jonathan Winters has now passed away, you know, who's going to do the voice of Papa Smurf now? Well, since I watched there was those 2 Smurf specials, you know, the Halloween special, the Sleepy Hollow version, and the Christmas Carol version. It's voiced by this guy named Jack Angel. Yeah, I don't know. It's just he's just nowhere near what Jonathan Winters did when he voiced Papa Smurf, when, you know. And if he's gonna voice Papa Smurf in for a third film, he's not going to. And he's nowhere near what Jonathan Winters did as Papa Smurf. He'll always be the perfect voice of Papa Smurf. So, yeah. So that's gonna be, if I see it, that's gonna be one of the main issues. Is the guy who voices Papa Smurf, you know. And um, there was also an article that I from a while back that I've recently if I can just find it. Um, da 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 da. I'm just pausing everything. I'm looking for the article. Yeah, right here. They said that the third film for the third film that they're not gonna do half live action and half animation. They said they're gonna go fully animated on the third Smurfs film. You know that yes, even though these two they say even though these two were successes though, but they decided that especially probably for the underperformance of the second film, you know how much it made in box office taking, they decided to do it fully animated. You know. Um, and they said that and well, also what I've read, but they said I think it was some of the Hank Azaria said though. They said that they said originally said it was going to go back. It was going to be an origin story. So now it's going to be read. It's going to be the third film is going to be a prequel, which that's like another issue for me because I'm not a fan of prequels. Well, except for a couple though. So, but I'm not technically a fan of prequels though. But That's another thing. You know, a prequel and no Jonathan Winters. You know, and fully animated. You know, if they do fully animated, make it like in the traditional animation. You know, with like how the old cartoon was though. But I don't think they're not gonna do that. And they see us, so the race was here by um this is the Smurfs 3 will be completely animated, you know, opposed to the 2011 2013 Smurfs and Smurfs 2, which were both live action animation. This is the Smurfs 2 $347 million worldwide with box office take, which was 215 million less than the first film had. So, which is reason decision to go fully animated sequel, which will be made. Both movies made over, you know, 7% of worldwide grosses from overseas, you know. They said it was interesting. The Smurfs' main villain Gargamel will be portrayed by Hank Azaria though, but it isn't clear as to the studio is crafting a new villain, or they simply or they'll just use Gargamel in animated form, even though Hank Azaria will still be will voice Gargamel still. Now and yeah, they don't think they'll have no Neil Patrick Harris or Jayma Mays. You know, I don't think they're not gonna happen. See, that's one of the things. So yeah, it's maybe because they said that maybe because the second film didn't make as much as the first film did. That's why they decided to go fully animated. You know. And if they maybe have a new villain instead of Gargamel, or even if they do use Gargamel, he's still gonna be animated. But Hank Azaria will voice Gargamel, still playing the character still though. Which that's gonna be a downfall because now after reading all this, now I'm not sure I'm not gonna be interested in this new third Smurfs film though. Because I like the first two films, and especially the second film I liked a lot, you know. So yeah, it is. They said a fully animated film. It might be a prequel, you know. Jonathan Winters no longer as Papa Smurf, you know. No Neil Patrick Harris, you know. This one. Now this one I would say I'm not gonna be. I'm not. All this from me. I'm not gonna be looking forward to this new third Smurfs film, you know. If they try to and also maybe Raja Gosnell is not gonna be directing the third film anyway. I don't know yet. So. So that's why I would do an update for this third Smurfs film. You know, I may see it. I don't know if I see it when I see the trailer. If it looks any good, maybe. But otherwise, all those problems I have though, I may not see it, which is a shame because I like the second one a lot, and I like the first one. You know, I just wish they would have stuck with it. So it made a little mess of money. You know, it was still a success overall though. So, but because it didn't make much mess with the first film, they decided to go fully anime instead of crossover with live action, which is a real shame. So yeah, that's my review for the Smurfs 2, Jonathan Winters' last film, and this is it for my little tribute. Also, my tribute for Jonathan Winters. May he rest in peace. Love Jonathan Winters and always will be. So that's my review for the Smurfs films. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay tuned for the next review. Later.